Hey, what's up? Um, I'm going to be doing a 5 to 10 minute video, so, hmm, let's get started. This is What If Deku Was a Wendigo? Um, we start off at when Deku was 4 years old, at the Quirk Doctor. They were, testing his quirk, and they, came out with the results, and they said, your son does have a quirk, but it's dangerous. Uh, it is a. It's basically like a Reaper of Death, the Wendigo. There's been 0 quirks like this. We don't know how he could control it, what type of abilities come with the quirk. Actually, not abilities, aspects that come with the quirk. But Deku was just excited that he had a quirk, and he asked, "Can I still become a hero?" And the doctor said, "No, your quirk is villainous." And Deku's dreams just drop. His entire life was just plummeted to the ground. And Deku was just upset. And that's when his quirk activated. Straight up. Like that. And Deku just ripped the doctor apart, like tore him to pieces. And his mom was just there in the corner, staring at her son, who turned into a little wendigo. Imagine this, but smaller. Um, and and she straight up, she went insane. She said that there was a monster, a legit monster, who attacked the doctor. They thought that she was in. The police thought that she was insane. She asked. They asked if she was on anything, and she said no. Only when she was 19, she was on one thing and then stopped the next day. And you guys are probably wondering what happened to Deku. He went into, he jumped out the window and disappeared. Like, he turned into smoke. All you could see is just smoke. That's one of the aspects to his abilities. Well, to his quirk. He can. Let's just give a rundown on Izuku Midoriya's quirk. Um, he can turn into smoke, and whenever, if you can hear that in the background, that's just my uncle. Um, he can turn in, like, he can shift through human form and this form. 3, he he can grow like spikes and also wings if he trained his quirk enough. And also wither. like legit. He can give, like, Minecraft aspect withering. Um, it's kind of like that, but instead, their bodies slowly, like from the inside to the out, like their body just shrivels up, turns into dust, and it starts from the inside to the outside. Um, and he does not know the other two abilities, but he does know the smoke one, and he let's just give a rundown on the smoke. Once he turns into smoke, his body turns legit into smoke, but you can, like, it's the exact same. The smoke looks like him, like in his Wendigo form, and like all Wendigos, they have increased speed, increased strength, and they have an insatiable hunger for meat, human meat especially. Um, and Deku just went to the mountains, and people have tried going there, and one of them always dies out of two, or because Deku wants them to live to tell the tale. It's like it's like the metaphor. Dead men tell no tales, and for all they know, Izuku Midoriya is dead, and Katsuki, aka Kachan, he he was just he got depressed. Not bad enough to where he'll commit suicide. He just stayed silent, antisocial, um, and he was a little bit insane, just a little. He always talked to himself like Izuku Midoriya, like mutter, mutter, mutter. Um, and Izuku, he said that he'll go to UA for Izuku because he's so-called dead. And then one day a couple heroes went to the mountains, well, back to Izuku, scratch out the heroes in the mountains, um, back to Izuku, now times, um, he's, in human form, he's approximately, four, no, 10 years old, yeah, 10 years old. It's been approximately 6 years since his quote unquote death, and four heroes, strong heroes, the seventh, eighth, and ninth, and 10th heroes went there to investigate on the disappearances and the rumors of a monster with a skull of a deer, but the horns of a demon, and the arms, well, the body of a human, but the parts of of animals and skeletons. And they just straight up freaking went to the mountains and said, "Okay, don't split up, stick together, and see any movement, immediately touch the other person, the people next to you, and point." Now, the in this world, the seventh and eighth heroes are not the ones from My Hero Academia. These are my customs. Um, Izu, yeah, and Deku will have a brother, an older brother, the uh, the seventh hero. It's a fire-based quirk. His quirk is a fire-based quirk. Sorry about this. And he he can manipulate fire, put out fires, and his hero name is Torch. It's my best name for him. And his actual name is um Frick. Let's just call him Fritz. Fritz James Midoriya, aka Fritz Midoriya. Um, and the eighth hero is, and Katsuki is going to have a sister. Her quirk is the opposite of Katsuki's. Explosive water, not explosions. Because explosive water means that you sweat nitroglycerin, but your palms, yes, they do light it up, but once it just explodes, it's water. And the water is basically bullets, except for it doesn't go towards, like, yes, it does hurt people, but it doesn't hurt people enough to where they would die. And this is going to be her name. Her hero name is going to be Queen Explosions. Explosion. And her non-hero name is going to be Rochelle Bakugo. Rochelle Bakugo, and um and Fritz and Rochelle are dating. and Bakugo bullied Deku because his quirk didn't show up until he went to the quirk doctor, because of Bakugo's ego got ahead of him because he got his quirk at 3. And yes, I will be making Katsuki get his quirk at 3 years old. And Deku, he was just wandering around hunting for some random stuff like squirrels, pigeons. And yes, pigeons do live in the mountains. I'm making that happen. And he smelled human meat, and his senses just went went AWOL, and he straight up went for the 4 humans because he thinks that he's a monster, not a human, a quirked human. And Izuku was not really afraid because he was strong. And then once he got to the group, he saw a familiar face. Actually, 2 familiar faces. The 7th and 8th heroes. and he didn't know the others. Those two are not important at all. And he and Rochelle brought up, ain't this the place where you and your brother went to when he was 4? Um, like right before his birthday. Uh, and Fritz said, "Yeah, I miss Izuku." And Deku's just, his mind instant clicked. This is my brother and his girlfriend. And he started freaking out. He straight up hyperventilated, and he started turning back into human form. But he didn't have clothes. So once when he started hyperventilating, Fritz immediately heard the hyperventilating and came towards the sound, and everyone was just following him. And they said, "What is it?" And he said, "I hear something. Don't attack until I say so." And whenever he moved the bush branches, he saw his little brother laying there passed out because he was hyperventilating, and he straight up picked his brother up and said, "We gotta get him to the hospital immediately. I don't care, no if, ands, or buts about it." And they straight up ran to the hospital. No, like, the hospital is close to the mountains. Just, it's right next, like, the hospital is on the edge of the city. So that's how Izuku got to the mountains easily. So whenever they got to the hospital, they said, "I don't care what we have to do. We just need to get him to be checked up," and signed in. And they were like, "Okay, what's his name?" And Fritz said, "Izuku Midoriya." And they said, wait, sir, he's dead." And he's like, "No, he's in my arms right now. Well, in my girlfriend's arms right now, and I can tell by the looks he is my little brother, because the only person that knew about the mountains other than me, and where we always liked to hang out, was in the mountains right behind this place." And they were like, "Okay." And they signed him in as Izuku Midoriya, and they put him in a room, didn't strap him at all. Then when Izuku woke up, he saw his brother's face. He's like, "Brother?" And he had a hard time saying brother. Like, he stuttered 5 times before completely saying brother, because he hasn't spoken in 6 years. He's only just he never spoke. And his brother was like, oh, and Izuku was out for like 2 days straight. And and Fritz was like, oh, thank God, I thought you were dead. You flatlined about 6 times. And Izuku was like, just laughed because he thought that his brother was. He thought that he was in a dream. He was like, am I having a dream right now? Just slowly saying, am I having a dream? And he's like, no, you ain't. You ain't dreaming. I can show you, I can straight up smack you. He's like, nope. And and also Inka Midoriya, she was put in a mental facility because it was the exact same mental facility as Rei Todoroki, and now Deku had to live with his brother because his dad is dead. He's not overseas. He didn't went to go get the milk. Yeah. He was shot to death. Like, he was shot right through the head in front of his little boy. In front of Fritz. Not Izuku. Fritz. And he straight up. Fritz just forgot because his dad was a prick. And that was when Inko was still pregnant. And whenever Izuku was just taking his normal nap, one of the League of Villains came in, and this is Toga. And she went to go extract some blood because she wanted to use identities that were in the hospital. And she just picked a random door, which happened to be Izuku's. So she went to extract some blood from him, and she didn't know that the number 7 hero was there. So she was afraid because she knows that she can't win against the number 7 hero. I just like talking to myself. Useless commentary to myself. I have to lie. And whenever Izuku was just laying there, he sleeps with his eyes open. And she just was afraid that Izuku would see her and that the number 7 hero was there. So she just backed away and left. She was that scared. She was a chicken. I just had to say that. And whenever she was just randomly walking around, outside the hospital, waiting for the number 7 hero to leave along with that child. She finally saw those two leave, along with another person, the number 8 hero. And she just straight up went in after they came out with a jacket around her, looking like she just was walking around and was going to go to the hospital to check on someone. She wasn't. She took the identity of a nurse there. So she was able to get out as soon as, like, go in and straight up move to a different place. And that will be the end of this episode. Bye. Sequel.